are thrilled to introduce the Sahamati BuildAAthon champion team, Trustsphere, on the theme of democratizing insurance and investment advisory for Indians. Trustsphere is a digital financial companion designed specifically for India's elderly, much needed in today's world. It leverages AI to simplify financial management, protect against fraud, and assist with tasks like deposits and assessing benefits, all through a secure, senior-friendly app. Let's warmly welcome the Trustsphere team as they share their journey and showcase their groundbreaking solution. If all of you clap, it's nicer. Thank you.
Perfect. We okay to start? Cool. Thank you. I'm Gyan. I'm representing the team Trustsphere. What is Trustsphere? I'll bring it to light and what was the problem we are trying to solve. A digital financial sathi for elderly. Now, before we jump into and try to understand what is the digital financial sathi, let me narrate some of my own personal experiences being in the age group that I am now, 40 plus. Parents, 75, 76. Last couple of years, I've stayed a lot with them. My father passed away. Mom stayed a lot with me. Last 2 years have been a lot of observation on what she has been going through, her own personal challenges. So till the time father was around, she had to worry about nothing. Everything was getting solved. There were resources, there were people who were making things happen for her, and she was kind of happy in living with the family the way she wants. Last 2 years, what I've seen for her was she would get a credit of pension. She, being a very financially independent mindset, she would always check on us, pension aayi kya? She would love to give her grandchildren's gift on the birthdays, on the festivities. And she'll ask us to go and withdraw that money and deposit that money. Like, make sure you do it and you draw it from my account, not you guys don't draw it from your account and do it. And similarly, many such occasions, like an SMS, when it comes, a financial SMS will come, she'll ask, ye dekho SMS aaya hai, isme kya ho raha hai? So there were a lot of these small financial transactions which were happening, which even though she was wanting to do it on her own, she really didn't have that capability with her. And there were a lot of barriers that were there. I'm going to lay out all of them in a couple of minutes. Now, I'm sure all of you could relate to this slide. And it pretty much represents what I was talking about. Pension aayi kya? FD mature hui hai naya? Policy mein claim aaya kya? So if you're hitting that zone of 70, 72, 75 and more, you are going to have health-related issues and you will end up going to one of the hospitals. Unfortunately, if you end up having a surgery or something, the claim is going to arise, and all of that leads to a lot of fiasco for the elderly as such. Now imagine for us, what was that every time she had some challenges, we were around. But if you are living as an independent parent away from the children, how will you manage in situations like this? And that is primarily what we wanted to solve in this BuildAAthon. Obviously, we come from a payments, credit, lending ecosystem. So we had n number of problems we thought we could solve it in the traditional finance world. Risk management, concern management, and like all lovely ideas. But then end of the day, what we wanted to do is what is we as a people, like 3-4 of us, really resonated. And that's a problem statement. So what we did is with this kind of insight, we went about asking a lot of elderlies, and we almost interviewed 50, 60 people, asked them a bunch of questions on like what's their real challenges are. And it's not like nothing like we already know it. It's just that we don't give a lot of thinking to it. So like the fact that a lot of financial apps, the way they are constructed, a small font size, like the app keeps changing. We love to build for this digitally native generation. And that's how all of us as a product manager wants to like brag about it. We did it. There's a new build coming. There's a 14-day sprint coming. And there's a new release. Yay. But every time you do that, elderly who just got acclimatized to that app version suddenly has to figure it out all again. So we don't think in those terms. We don't think about them. We only think about people like us. And that is where the problem kind of comes about it. So we are creating accessibility gap for the elderlies. Like I said, native fast animation, complex interfaces, lot of jargons. My mom speaks Audhi and Hindi. She understands everything Audhi and Hindi. But if you send all financial messages which are in English, there's no way she's going to understand it. She's going to be dependent on us. So what do? You really need to solve for this. Now, and this is like, I'm kind of reiterating the theme here, but that's what really been happening. So for us, the real insight was that between me and my mom and my siblings, the needs are not different. They want to transact. They want to be able to pay for their things, and they have affordability. It's not that they don't have affordability. So why create that gap? And honestly, 3-4 years with the same problem statement, I probably didn't have a solution, or we couldn't think of a solution. But last 6 to 8 months, a lot of us have spent a lot of time in deploying LLM for transaction categorization, enrichment kind of a use case. And there was a good background for us to kind of go back and say, hey, this exists, we have tried it out, why not try it out in these scenarios? And that's where we kind of went about it. So what are the needs of it? So we, again, spoke to a lot of elderlies. Needs are, again, not very different. So what they want some kind of a protection. There are two kinds of protection: financial protection, and the fact that if any emergency arises of health, then they should be able to kind of be able to manage on their own. They want their money to grow. So if they're getting pension, if they have a saving deposit, they should be able to deposit it in a probably higher interest account as such. If they need a protection, they should be able to afford a health insurance policy, or at least know which is a good health insurance policy. These are the needs they have it. And again, the current system works in the sense there is a lot of offline channels. So we have an insurance agent who guides us. There is a banker who comes to house to get things done. We tell him we are coming, mom is coming, please get it done. So there is offline system which is working, but it's still dependent. And again, we are enabling it. And that is like really the need that kind of got us ready. So our hypothesis was like, why don't create a platform which is specifically designed for the elderly? Now, let me give you some numbers. India, 104 million elderly as of today. This is going to become 390 million by 2050. Today, almost 25% of people are financially illiterate, 75% people are financially illiterate. Digital illiteracy is at 85%. Health insurance penetration is 18%. So there's a significant, so like we've heard all about those sessions where we said that we are really going gung-ho, there's a big amount of digital financial inclusion is happening. But look at some of these numbers here. And this needs really addresses. And that's what Trustsphere is trying to solve for. Trustsphere is trying to be a digital financial Sathi. There are couple of large themes on which we are trying to build. One, we want to be elderly voice native platform. So elderly should be able to consume any information through a voice interaction. Now, I have this very interesting concept, at least I feel so. So we always say when we present to the digital audience, we say digital native. And that's a common thesis in app world. We say we want to be the antithesis to that world, which is make interfaces, platforms, which do not require really you to learn a lot. You do, the way you interact with your natural surrounding, you kind of continue to engage in that surroundings. So what does Trustsphere does? It provides 3 broad things: assistance, protection, and enablement. What is assistance? Assistance is if you have you want to know anything about your money, which is, मेरी pension आई क्या, मेरे account में कितने रुपए हैं, मैंने पैसे भेजे मिले क्या, you should be able to ask those simple money management questions and be able to get an answer in a voice native format as such. More importantly, in any language that you prefer. Right now, we have built it for English, Hindi, and Marathi, but we can easily extend to any other language as such. Protection, we've discussed a lot about fraud. Now, fraud happens in 2 formats. At the point of transaction, can you prevent it? Post transaction of fraud had happened, can you detect it early and report to the bank so the money can be kind of traced and can be stopped or not? Third, enablement, which is, can you enable a payment? Can you enable a money transfer? Can you enable a FD booking? Can you enable an insurance policy buyout? That is where Trustsphere kind of tries to solve for. How do we solve for? Voice first, AI powered. So what is really happening at the background, and I'll quickly cover also, is we have an agentic AI system, which basically goes, understands the intent, and tries to deliver what the user is asking. Let me just skip a couple of slides and quickly go through the approach part of it. We're delivering all of this through 4 key blocks: account aggregation. And account aggregation here doesn't mean just fetching the data from Sahamati. That's also a larger part of what we have done. But we've also created a lot of knowledge bases. What a knowledge base in AI agent ecosystem is basically documents or reference knowledge systems through which I know more about it. So let's say Sahamati gives us a certain details about an insurance policy. So I know you are holding that insurance policy. So what is a knowledge base? Is a document that explains that insurance policy. So what we did is we went, scraped a lot of those insurance policy details, and we mapped it out. So today, if you ask which insurance policy we have, we'll say this is the insurance policy you have, which is coming from Sahamati. And if you ask, what is the coverage of that policy? How can I make claim about that policy? That's where the knowledge document comes into place. So that's the thing that we built it. It's built on DPI, Elder First UI, and AI part of it. Let me quickly show it. How does it work? So you speak into the web interface. It's a web app. You speak in any language that you prefer to it. What we do as a backend is we take that voice input, we convert, and we try to map the intent. So intent is whether you want to make a money transfer, whether you want to know a balance inquiry, whether you want to purchase a insurance. Some of those things we map it out. We understand the language that you want. Then our agent takes a decision whether this requires an additional data fetch or existing data is sufficient enough to answer that question. So there's a certain amount of semi-autonomy in the system that it kind of takes that decision, goes, fetches the data from Sahamati, and then aggregates and sends that information as such. Now, let me give you some examples. Hopefully, this will work. Okay. Okay. So it was supposed to play. So the way it would have played is the person would have asked me konti vima policy ghetli hai, which is like which insurance policy do I have? The response will be, you will have like in Marathi only, you have a HDFC insurance policy. The policy has coverage of 2 lakh rupees and a premium of 5,000 rupees, which is due on this date. Then you can ask that I have an unfortunate example that I have a kind of a cancer treatment. Does my policy covers it? It kind of will tell you this is what the coverage is, whether it's covered or not, and it will give you details about it. You can also ask about investment choices. You can say that I have 1 lakh rupees in my account. Where do I invest? So what the agent will do is, given your age profile of 60 plus, it will go and it will look at the schemes which are more important for the seniors, which is government saving schemes, FD rates, debt mutual funds, and it will look at all of them, and based on your amount you want to invest, it will suggest. So like if you want to invest in FD, it will suggest that probably ICICI Bank FD for the range of 365 days or 390 days is the best because it's offering 7.9% to interest rate on the elderly side. Unfortunately, the audio is not playing, so I'll just keep moving as such. Similarly, you can ask questions around whether you have money, pension in my account or not, whether are there any suspicious transactions or not. So what we have done is also based on the data that we get it, we created very technically an unsupervisory model, which goes to the transaction and tries to surface transaction which looks different from your normal transaction. So if I do typically a 5,000 rupees transaction or a 2,000 rupees transaction, the algorithm kind of identifies a transaction which is very different from it. It surfaces it and then tries to tell you that, hey, we will detect this transaction. Do you want to review it? And if you say, yes, I want to review it, it will kind of, if it's coming from ICICI Bank or any of the banks, it will share the helpline number, the fraud helpline number of that particular account of bank for you to make a call and inform them that the fraud has happened or something has happened as such. So this is like the whole solution, the way it comes about it. As part of the hackathon, we built the initial use case of assistance and protection, which is helping you with your financial queries and also helping you to get insights about fraud. As we move ahead, obviously we want to enable payments, we want to enable things around FD, insurance, and stuff like that. That's what we want to kind of build up. And that's where the journey is kind of going. So we have enabled English, Hindi, and Marathi. Unfortunately, I'm not able to demonstrate, and I was hoping the audio will work, and we tested it. But English, Hindi, Marathi is there. We are, and I don't know if some of you kind of have a background of agentic AI ecosystem. The way agentic AI ecosystem works is, the belief is that if you ask a query or question, it takes that query, it goes through a process of reasoning, and there are various thought reasoning chains that are involved, and then it identifies an action and then takes that action. So what we did is, for the purpose of hackathon, we built a semi-autonomous ecosystem. Now we are working towards making it a slightly more autonomous, in the sense that it should be able to take some more decisions and then be able to execute as such. What we are trying to do at Trustsphere is, we're trying to reimagine the financial independence for elderly. We want to be voice first, we want to be agentic AI ecosystem structure, and we want to operate at a large scale as such. That's what our endeavor is, and that's what we are trying to achieve over here. I'll pause here now. I'm almost done with it. Thank you so much.